Welcome, everybody, to Disney with the Ducks. You're joining Lonnie G, Kevin, Jeff and Carly, and John Kroll, and of course, me, Gene, for episode 21. Thank you so much for being here today. We got some really cool stuff to talk about. But first, just a little get to know you. And Carly's making me laugh. I don't know what she thinks is funny, but I'm just curious. The fans are clamoring. I mean, they just want to know. They want to know. What is your OCD, guys? I need to know, like, what about you do you do that you have to do that's different maybe than anybody else? It just, the world's not right unless that's done, unless it's done a certain way. What is that for you, Lonnie Gaines?
I don't have one. I really don't. You know what? One thing, when I do leave out the house, I make sure the garage is shut. And then I may drive around the street and circle back around the house to make sure it's still shut. It's the craziest thing for me.
That might be an OCD, sure.
That's probably. I just want to make sure safety. I just like safety.
Yeah. Okay.
I totally do that. I'll get like halfway down the road and think I didn't put my garage door down, and so then I have to go back and turn around and make sure.
So it's not just me.
No,
that's just normal. That's not OCD. That's normal.
I do that sometimes.
Yeah. I
forget stuff all the time, so there's a good chance I did forget to do something, you know. So, What about you, Kevin? You got something different?
I guess it's probably laundry. Whenever laundry comes out, I can't stand for it to sit, so I just like instantly fold it. Even if in the middle of eating or whatever, I'll just put my stuff to the side. I can't stand laundry to just sit around. So I don't know. They're not a very good one, but.
So, Kevin, let me ask you this, though. Are you particular about how it gets folded?
Yes.
Okay. I'm the same way. You have to fold it the right way.
Exactly a certain way.
Do you have a folding board?
And if I drop it, I have to unfold it and refold it completely again.
Yeah, because it's not the nice tight fold you had. Yeah.
Right.
I feel
you got to follow up, don't you?
I do. I have a follow-up question also, because Jeff is very particular about the order in which the laundry gets done. Like, it has to be towels, and then it's a load of hang-ups, and then it's a load of dryer stuff, and then it's another load of hang-ups.
It maximizes the efficiency of using both machines.
No,
Are you like that, Kevin?
No, not as much like that. I kind of just throw everything in there. I do separate towels, I guess, but
see, our towels take longer to dry than the other stuff. So if I do towels first, that extra time, I can have a load of stuff in the hang-ups. And then by the time the towels run the second time, I can have stuff that goes into the dryer. So the towels come out, something else goes into the dryer. It's like the maximization effort of both machines.
I like how you think about it.
You guys are crazy.
No, I do the same thing, but I like to have a load of towels or sheets for every other load, because they're easy to fold and quick, because if you do a full load of laundry, that's going to take a little while to fold when, I don't want to waste that time. So I just want to get stuff in there. Yeah. So, I mean, there's definitely like a science to it.
Yeah.
I don't, socks and underwear are washed in hot water, and so are towels. And so that's separate. That's not, you don't wash that with other clothes, because that's nasty.
Yeah. Your underwear shouldn't touch anything else. It should be by itself.
We started doing ours separate as well lately.
Just yours?
It gets washed. No, like all of the. Well, so here's the problem with 5 kids is kid laundry is the worst thing ever, because a load of adult laundry is like, I don't know, 20 shirts or something, right? A load of kid laundry is 375,000 articles. And it takes roughly a month to match. Yeah,
that drives me crazy.
I know it's been said before, but Kroll, how many kids do you have for just our listening audience?
5 children. So there's 6. My wife takes care of 6 children basically because of me.
There's a litter.
Mentally a child. Yeah. So yeah,
they have a litter.
So Kevin, I have to know, do you have a folding board?
I started with that. I started with the little plastic folder, and then I broke it. So I watched a show online on how to fold. So I roll my shirts into like tight little rolls.
Oh, I used to work at a Gap, so I had a folding board, but then I know how to do it now without the thing.
Yeah.
It is.
Very interesting.
I still think all y'all crazy, but that's just
it's crazy.
John, do you have you have an OCD other than what you've already shared?
I mean, I have a lot, but I think my main one is probably chapstick. I put it on habitually, like I could do it one-handed. I even like spin the little thing. It's just it's like my safety blanket. I have to have it with me when I leave the house. I have multiple ones in my backpack as backup for anytime I go anywhere. It's bad. It's really bad. So yeah, I think that's my main one, but then there's several others. The laundry thing, I always refold laundry, which is not ideal when your partner does some of the laundry too, to go in and just refold everything, or when your mother-in-law is taking care of your kids for you for an extended period of time and she does laundry during the day and I just refold everything.
I feel you, Kroll. I feel you.
So I have a lot of issues, but those are a few of them.
But awesome. Dry lips is not one.
Yeah.
No, my lips are very moist and just beautiful.
Get close
I
to
was
the
going to
camera.
say something.
Let me
say
see.
something, but I didn't want to be.
Oh yeah, that's some nice lips. I see.
No, but ever since we started dating, my wife complains about the amount of chapstick that she gets on her if we, if I give her a smooch, let's say.
I'm sure the chapstick is the reason, John.
Did she call you greasy lips or something like that?
She doesn't know, no, but like even earlier today, she was like, "No, please just don't kiss me. I don't want your chapstick on my face."
Is it because you wear the glitter stuff?
Yeah, it's the glitter. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Well, I mean, I want to look nice, right? If I'm going out of the house, I want to have a pop, and the glitter gives me that pop.
His kids be like, "You're so shiny."
Might be the best episode we've ever had.
This could be the best idea that
start.
I didn't think was going to be good. Carly, what about you?
I can't really think of any. I know Jeff's going to be like bull crap. I really enjoy vacuuming the carpet in a pattern. It just has to be done. Like it has to be in the same direction. You can't come in and willy-nilly vacuum in like circles. It's got to be like, up and then down at a little angle and then back up and then down at an angle. And then I back up and I don't want to step on it after I vacuumed it because then I have footprints and it messes up the pattern. And it doesn't matter if 5 seconds after I'm done, somebody walks on it. Like I'm not a freak about that. But whenever I'm doing it, I want it to be in a pretty pattern.
I mean, I can see that.
Same way with the grass, mowing the grass.
Yeah, it's like checkerboards in the grass is what I was thinking. Nothing wrong with that.
That makes my heart happy. How about you, Jeff?
My list for this could probably be multiple episodes long. What do you think's my most? The remotes.
Remotes. Yeah.
So if I'm sitting in the chair and I have, like, we used to have a remote for the TV, one for the Roku. My phone would be sitting there, the one for like the sound stuff, and they used to, unbeknownst to me, as I'm sitting there watching them, they'd be lined up in size order on the arm of the chair.
And if you really wanted to screw with him, you just walk by and like bump it accidentally. And then he wouldn't even know it. He'd be talking and just his hand would move down and he would re-straighten it. So we simplified it down to one remote now. So now it's just the remote and the phone that go together. But
does it have to be straight? It can't be on an angle, right? It has to be perfectly 90 degrees.
Size order right down.
Yep.
And like if I'm eating Oreos in container, they got to go in straight lines across. You can't pull them out.
So the super fun thing is to open the Oreos and eat them from the middle.
Oh,
I love that.
Are you an animal?
Right.
That's torture that Carly does.
That is torture.
I love this.
But not of the body, of the soul.
I call it therapy, where it's tolerance. We're building a tolerance.
Nobody got my Batman reference.
You want one more just for fun here?
For giggles, yeah.
All right. So like pizza rolls, I make pizza rolls, and they are all lined up in order on a plate, like in rows and columns that are evenly. And then partway through cooking, you flip them over, and they're eaten in a pattern as well. So.
Or bagel bites. He puts bagel bites on a circular plate, and it has to start in the middle and then work out in consecutive circles.
Wow.
Yeah, he's got some issues now that we're talking about it. Like,
you might want to invest in a therapist.
It's been 40 years.
Hey, just because you've always done it that way doesn't mean that's the best way to do it.
Right.
That's true.
It's a thing. How about you, Gene?
I have multiple, but as we're talking, I look down at my hands and I see that my thumb and my forefinger are green. And that's because I've got a green pen and I've fiddled like the whole time I'm talking. Y'all said things about the noise. Like, I don't know if Lonnie, if you've ever noticed it, but like I mess with my ring all the time. I have to be doing something with my hands. Like I've got note cards to write notes. And the whole time what do you call it? Fanning them out like a deck of cards. I do that, and then I straighten them out. If I've got something in my pocket, I'll tear my thumbnail away from the quick a little bit, like running my finger through a key ring, not even thinking about it. It's just like, I don't even know what you call it. I've heard of it like with an ADHD thing, like keeping your hands busy helps you focus. And I noticed that as a trainer, one of the things that they taught us was to put things on the table for people to fiddle with: pipe cleaners, Play-Doh, googly eyes, something. I mean, I always make bugs when I sit there in a training session. I'll make remember the cooties game?
Oh yeah.
I'll make a bug that looks like a cootie out of pipe cleaners and whatever. But if I'm doing something with my hands, I am zoned into whatever's being talked about.
Same.
All right. So we're all a little weird. Sometimes even when we go to Disney parks, we do some weird things, and maybe we don't even go to parks. So we're going to talk about that today. What do we do? What else can you do if you are not going to go to a park one day at Disney World in the area? That's what the topic is today. So I'm just curious, guys. It's kind of a free for all, free Willy. I don't know. We're just going to talk and just hear some tips and tricks on what to do if you're at a resort. You're in the area. You got a Disney trip planned. You just decide you're not going to the park. I don't know. I just keep rambling. I just keep talking. Somebody stop me.
All right, Gene. So Gene host this.
Yeah, let Gene just go. No, I think one of the funnest things for me to do if you're not going to go to the park is just hang out at your hotel, enjoy the pool, check out the resort, do the shopping, get the food, and just sit by the pool and enjoy the day. Because those resorts really have some really cool themed pools and some awesome restaurants and some cool little if you want to have an adult beverage, there's usually a fun place to do that as well. So yeah, I say have a resort day.
Resorts are destinations on their own. I mean, they all have different themes. They have different things. I mean, you can just go to Disney, stay at a resort, and never hit a park, and still have a great trip, just exploring everything there is to offer just at the resort. So I agree with you.
And for the most part, you can go to pretty much any resort. You may not be able to swim in the pool, but you can go to the different restaurants at the different resorts. You can go to one of my favorites is Geyser Point. Being able to go to the different areas of the resorts, and even I've heard you can go to Animal Kingdom resorts and see the animals. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, you sometimes have to get creative, because if you are on property and taking Disney transportation, you're totally fine to resort hop. But if you're driving, sometimes, especially with those deluxe resorts, they won't let you just go without having a dining reservation at a sit-down restaurant. So we've had to get pretty creative in the past, either get dropped off at the TTC, or we have gone to Disney Springs and parked our car there, and then use Disney transportation to get back to a resort hotel. So you might have to get a little creative, but it's definitely worth the trip.
Absolutely. Hey, Carly, so not me, because I'm well versed with all things Disney, but maybe there might be some listeners who are watchers or whatever they are that don't know what TTC is. Of course, I know.
I saw that look on your face, Gene.
I know, of course, but I'm just curious if you could share that for people that, unlike me, who might not know.
The Ticket and Transportation Center. So that is
The
pretty
parking lot
much
at Magic Kingdom.
pretty much the parking area for Magic Kingdom, but it's right on the monorail loop. So instead of hitting the monorail to go to Magic Kingdom or getting on the ferry, you can just hit the monorail to go to Poly, Grand Flow, Contemporary, and hang out at those resorts, which is always nice. And I'm going to piggyback off of John's idea, because I said, in addition to just hanging out at the resort, I said there are tours that they offer at certain resorts. Animal Kingdom Lodge, Kevin, you mentioned, does some tours of the savannas, but they also do tours of the lobby, because there's all kinds of African artifacts around that lobby that you walk by all the time and you don't even notice. A lot of the deluxe resorts, and I don't know if the values do, but I know the deluxe do pool activities like tie-dye. And you don't have to be staying there to do that particular activity. They do painting on the boardwalk and at Beach Club. They do trivia. They do movie nights out on the green at Boardwalk, or they do them, over by the water at Contemporary. So there's all kinds of cool, relatively cheap resort activities that you could do. Some of them are even free, but.
I was staying at the Beach Club one time for work, and there was some races, 1 day a week or 2 days a week. They
The
would have
fun
some little
runs,
races,
yeah.
the fun runs. Yeah. So there's that kind of stuff too. Kevin, you mentioned Geyser Point. So again, something I'm very familiar with, but for those that might not be, tell us more about that.
So Geyser Point is a little, it's at Wilderness Lodge, just right beside the Wilderness Lodge. It's not the easiest place to get to, but if you do ride sharing, it's pretty quick and easy. That's the way I did it, the way I usually do it. And just get dropped off right there and walk over. It's a little outside kind of outdoor bar restaurant. And it's one of the coolest views that you can have in the afternoon at Disney. It's overlooking the lake. And they have some of the coolest servers. It's a lot of fun, especially if you're in a big group of people.
Very cool.
Not just great views during the day, Kevin. If you go sit there in the evening, you grab a drink and sit and watch the water parade come through, and they pipe the music through, so you hear the music going through. It's really fun to watch that from Geyser Point as well.
Yeah, and you can see the fireworks too. You don't get a great view, but me and my son watched them when we were staying there for Christmas one year, and it was a pretty good view. You're outside, you've got a beverage, and you're right on the water there. It's pretty awesome.
Yep.
So speaking of fireworks, you don't have to be in the parks to watch the fireworks. And I guess in 2020, with the running group Lizards, we all chipped in and got a pontoon and took it from the Contemporary, and they took us on a little boat tour around the Seven Seas Lagoon area, and then parked it in front of the castle. And they have audio ports inside the boat and play the music. So you can see the castle. You get a really good view. So you don't have to be at the parks to see Magic Kingdom fireworks.
And Kevin, that was going to be one of mine too, is watching the fireworks from somewhere that's not inside the Magic Kingdom. So the pontoon boat is awesome, but you have to pay for it, right? So that's right. Polynesian has their beach, and it's one of my favorite places. You grab a lapu lapu and you go sit on the beach with your pineapple, and you just have a few drinks and you watch the fireworks. Or and I'm only sharing this because I sold my Polynesian DVC contract, so we're not going to be staying there as much because we have 1 million humans in our family now. But the third floor of Tokelau, the balcony that faces the Magic Kingdom, you go up there to the third floor. It's a perfect view. You can see the projections on the castle. You hear the music being piped in. It's like a complete. You get to look over the what are they called? The bungalows. Yeah. So the bungalows where your view can be stopped by those if you're on the sidewalk or the beach down there, you're up on that third floor balcony, and it just looks so great. It's like if you take the stairs up to the top. We got that tip from a bellhop the first time we stayed at Poly, and every trip there, I go out there at night and watch the fireworks. I love it.
That's cool. Awesome.
A couple other good places to watch fireworks outside the parks. If you go and you eat at California Grill, you used to be able to watch it from their little patios they have outside. I think you still can. If you eat there, they let you go back up. Even if you eat for earlier in the evening, you can go back up at fireworks time just with your receipt, save it, and they'll let you back out to watch that. Top of the World Lounge, if you know DVC members, when it opens, because I think it's opening here very soon. And if you're lucky enough to maybe have an evening dinner reservation at Topolino, I think they have views of some of the Epcot fireworks from their outside. I believe so. I'm not 100% sure. And possibly the top of the Gran Destino Tower. So I think they have an outside patio area that you can look for fireworks as well.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
And if you want to ride, let's say you don't have park tickets, there's always as well, you can get on the Skyliner, right? Do a Skyliner crawl. That's awesome to do. Let you out right in front of Epcot, so you can go right into the boardwalk at night. Saturday nights, all during the week. Actually, there are performers that are out there on the boardwalk. Carly mentioned you can see the movies on the grass. You sit out there, that's free as well. And something that, you know, when I actually did a non-park ticket visit to the parks for a race, Disney Springs. Right, Disney Springs is a resort in itself, right? So you know, you walked around. I walked around, had some ice cream, sit out there, listen to music. It was a great place to visit. So when you look at doing that, and of course, Carly mentioned it as well, you can hang out at the resorts. You can, Kevin, I know you said you can watch the animals from the savannah. In fact, a lot of people actually just come there, walk out into the savannah. If you're in Kidani, there's a walk spot that you can actually walk out. Usually there's a fireplace if it's cold, and you can sit there and watch the animals. So there are a lot of things you can do. And hey, let's not forget the monorail crawl as well, right? That'll bring you around as well. So you can have that ride and experience the parks as well without actually going into them.
Have any of you ever done a monorail crawl or a skyline crawl?
Yeah.
Yes. It was always on my list. And then I want to do, and I know they used to have this that you could book through Disney, but no longer. But I want to get appetizers at one restaurant and then hop monorail and go over to Poly and get, you know, dinner, and then hop on the monorail and go to Grand Flow and get dessert, and then hop on the monorail again and kind of go around and do drinks.
Do they call it a progressive dinner? Like a progressive monorail?
Yeah. Highway in the Sky or something? Is that what it was called? Yeah.
We did that. I did that with a group of running friends back in 2018 for the first Dopey. That was a lot of fun. Started at Contemporary and worked our way around to the all the way around the monorail loop. It was fun.
Yeah, I find it hard because every time I go and hang out at a resort, I say, you know, this is my favorite one, right? The Poly has so much to do. Trader Sam's, right? You go there, you know, so you go there, you do that. I mean, you can actually, to everyone's point, just hang out. You really don't need to go into the parks. In fact, I was telling my wife, maybe we should just take a little trip and not go into the parks at all since it's so crowded, but we can do so many other things just by going from resort to resort. I mean, we love our home resort, which is Animal Kingdom, but you know, we can do all kinds of things in other resorts as well.
Yeah, and I think, Lonnie, one of the things you mentioned earlier was going over to the boardwalk and you could see the performers and stuff, but also something like Abracadabra. I had never gone there until our last trip, we stayed at Beach Club, and I met a buddy who lives in Orlando at that bar. It is so fun. It's got a lot of people there. Like you said, you can people watch on the boardwalk and see performers and stuff, and just really cool drinks. And it's just such a fun place to go.
It is.
And
it's right.
Go ahead.
I say it's right by the boat launch too, John. So that's another thing. You can get on the boat and just ride the boat as it goes around, right? It goes to Hollywood Studios, but it also goes to the Swan and Dolphin, kind of swings you around. So you can take that nice little cruise, just stay on it. Right, and have fun doing that as well.
Yes.
So I got a question.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Kevin.
All right, I got a question. So, let's say you got you got a day where you're not at the parks, but your kids want to see some characters. Are there any opportunities to meet with characters that are not in the parks?
There's some character meals at some of the restaurants would be a way to do it. Chef Mickey has them.
Okay.
I think Ohana has them.
Yeah.
The
Topolino Terrace
at breakfast
definitely does at breakfast.
Beach Club. Cape May Cafe for breakfast. I
believe.
They
do have mini, right? And Daisy, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
They occasionally do show up at the resorts, just kind of wandering around, but they're so hit and miss. You can't really plan on that. But there are a few character meals that you can definitely schedule outside the parks as well.
Yes.
Which is good, because if you spend a day at the parks and for some reason you don't get to see the character that you want, and you know that a character is at a dining place outside of the resort or outside of the parks, then you can do that. So
yeah. And even if you couldn't get reservations, you know, in advance, they're booking out 60 days. The day of or the night before is always a great time to check, because they have 24 hours cancellation policy. So if you go on the day before and start looking, reservations pop up all the time. And another tip with that, I know we're not like doing a tip show on dining, but if you go across the top on my Disney experience. You can choose breakfast, brunch, lunch, dinner. If you go to the times and you just flip back and forth between a few times, different ones show up. It may not count it as a breakfast, but it is a breakfast time still, and the characters are still there, and you can snag one. So
yeah,
that's a great tip. That's worked for me several times. So great tip, Carly.
I think even if it's not a tips and tricks show, it's tips and tricks are always good, Carly. Thanks.
Well, thank you.
that's a good one.
As I was thinking through this and thinking about this show, because obviously I don't have the Disney experience you guys have. I was thinking there's only been a couple of times that I've gone to the parks that I didn't go, that I've gone to Disney World for a trip and not gone to any of the parks. But actually, as I thought about it, I've been to Disney World for meetings, for work, many times, and we weren't going to the parks. And so I just started thinking of some of the things that I've enjoyed with the Boardwalk jelly rolls. We had a meeting one time, and it's just such a fun environment, with the dueling pianos. It's a lot of fun. Karaoke at, I believe it was, I could look
Swan and Dolphin.
Swan and Dolphin, yeah. A lot of fun.
Not just at one of the lounges, or
yeah, it was at the Japanese. I think it was a sushi place.
Is it kimonos?
Yeah, I think that's right. I could look it up, but I'm probably wrong. I don't know.
I think it's kimonos.
Yeah.
Another thing that Lonnie and I did one time. I know you all are DVC owners, but we took a tour. We took a DVC tour. We were actually in the park when we got recruited to do that, but you could do that and you might score something, you might get some great information. I think, that's where Lonnie really got serious. Like he really started thinking hard about it. We were like, oh, we're not interested, but well, yeah, we'll go.
I said, he doesn't speak for me. I'm interested.
Well, no, but you at the time, I don't think you were nearly as interested as you were when you finished it up. But we scored a whole bunch of back when they're fast passes, some gift cards and fast passes, and it didn't take the 30 minutes they said it was going to take, but it didn't take all day either. So it was actually a fun experience for me who never. I've only been to except for dinners. I've never been into rooms except for at Port Orleans and then and economy value resorts. So it was a good experience for me to just kind of see what else there was.
Yeah, Riley still talks about that when we did the DVC tour, because when they have the DVC tour center open over at Saratoga Springs, they have free ice cream at the end. And so whether you buy or not, you walk away with fast passes, sometimes gift cards, and ice cream, which is great.
I don't know if that's currently working the same way.
No, I don't think it is, but they do.
No ice cream? Is it broken?
Yes.
No,
It's like McDonald's.
McDonald's. Yeah.
Ask them before they take. Said, is there ice cream?
Yeah.
Is there cookies?
Right,
You want to know that going in.
You tell them no enough. It's like buying a car. They'll throw in some stuff. You tell them no enough on whatever, they'll bring it down and they'll add the gift cards. I'm telling you.
Even if they don't have the same sort of tours that they did a couple years ago, if you stop at the DVC resorts and just ask them to see some of the demo rooms, they're interesting to go through.
Oh yeah.
I mean, some
Especially
of
the
the rooms, I'm
Grand
like, that's as big as my house. I could live here. I could hide in here, and the people who are staying in this room would never know I existed. And I have a love affair with the new bathtubs and the 1-bedroom and 2-bedroom studios, and they're so beautiful. But yes, that's a good point.
So Lonnie, you mentioned Disney Springs. So some other things that you can do there is they have a bowling alley that's a lot of fun. Splitsville. And then one other thing that they've closed, but I've heard rumors online that they may be reopening. It's called the Void. I don't know if any of y'all have done that.
Yeah, I did the Star Wars Void.
I did.
Loved it.
I need to know more. I don't know anything about that. Tell me more about this.
Virtual reality.
The Void is closed.
The Void is closed. However, I just saw this on Disney Blog today. Disney partnered with Lucasfilm's Immersive Entertainment Studio, and they have what's called Meta Quest 2 Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge.
Oh, yeah.
It's Oculus 2 systems, basically. That you can buy.
It's the virtual reality goggles.
Sign us up.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And it does look very cool. And right now, until July 21st, it is completely free. You can go in.
From noon
It
to 10.
takes from noon to 10. You have
Neat.
to be 13 years or older. It takes about 8 minutes to do this virtual experience, but
I will warn you, if you get prone to motion sickness, we have one of the Oculus systems. It's pretty rough. I did okay with the Void.
Yeah, the Void's a little bit different.
The Void was
Yeah.
cool, but I will tell you this: Carly said the right thing when she said free. What's my motto, Gene? If it's free,
Give me 3.
there you go.
nice.
So I want, you know,
So is the line really long for something like that? I mean, you would
I
think.
have no idea. It just started.
Yeah,
I would
okay,
guess
that's
it's
cool.
probably going to be, but
Mhm.
8 minutes per person. I mean, I'm gonna guess they're gonna have like a virtual queue. I can't imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've got a virtual queue to buy cookies, for crying out loud, at Disney Springs, you're gonna have a virtual queue for that.
Yeah.
But it's free until July 21st. So
But
that's awesome.
And
I
it
wonder
is
if it's
true.
going to be longer after that. When you start paying for it, I wonder if it's like maybe that's a preview, and then when you
Could be.
start paying for it, it's like a longer
8
experience.
minutes is a
so.
long experience, though, right?
In VR, it is.
In VR, yeah.
Yeah.
And the
That's
Void was
like-
about 20 minutes, I think.
Yeah, the Void was 20 minutes, but you fought Dark Vader though. Well, you lost to Dark Vader. I lost,
Yeah.
but it was still cool to be out.
But you get to hold the blaster and all that. That's really cool. Yeah.
Mhm.
A couple other things that are at the Springs, like activity wise. You also have the movie theater down there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The
There's
AMC.
also the Cirque du Soleil has their
Mhm.
new Drawn to Life show that just reopened here not long ago.
Hot air
there's-
balloons.
What's that?
The hot air balloon.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
the
the Aerophile. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's
There's no
pretty
way
fun.
I'm ever going on that.
So I'm terrified of heights, and we did it a long time ago when Riley was just little. She doesn't remember doing it, probably for the best because she's terrified of heights too. But it was scary. But once you got up there, the view was spectacular.
It was a
But
fairly
it is-
calm day.
It was.
Our wind, not much
Yeah.
wind. We've seen some of them where the wind's blowing and they're kind of.
I mean,
like
it's
this.
tethered down, so you're not really going
Yeah.
anywhere.
Yeah.
But it's,
Yeah,
it's a
I saw
I
lot
mean, they
of-
always say that until
It
something
does.
happens.
yeah. I saw videos. All it takes is one line to pop, and next thing you know, I'm in
There's also
stratosphere.
Yes.
the duck boats that you can take. Or
Mhm.
they're not
Yeah,
ducks.
those are awesome.
They
Over at
cost all
Boathouse,
cars.
they have
Yeah.
the cars that you can water
Yeah.
taxi.
Or like, so you guys mentioned the aqua or the Aerophile balloon. One of the things I've always wanted to do at Disney, but I'm too afraid, is take a helicopter tour. I think that would be so awesome.
That would
They're only
be
like
awesome.
10 or 15 minutes, something like that. But it freaks me out a little bit to be in
I
a
would
helicopter,
love
but
to do
they
that.
look
So-
awesome. Oh,
I'll give you. So there's a few airports that are around. So I've taken a few flight lessons. I have looked into this. There are some introductory flights that you can take from Kissimmee and some of the other airports, and they'll let you pilot the plane. Not necessarily over Disney Park, but you can see it.
Yeah.
In
Have you-
downtown Orlando, and yeah.
Are you nervous about the helicopter in general, John, or just?
yeah. I don't like
We
heights in general. And
I don't
helicopters,
either.
they seem scarier than planes. And,
They're
you know,
cool.
I mean,
they're super cool.
they might
You
be,
know my
but
fear. My fear
What about-
of flying is
even
strong.
Kobe went down in one, right? So I mean, like, it's
Yeah,
I don't know.
but
It
that
freaks
wasn't
me
a
out.
clear day and a clear flight path.
I
That
know,
was a
but
strange.
you know, it can happen to anybody. That's my point. Like, I don't know. It freaks me out.
What
But
if it's Airwolf?
well, if it's
Airwolf.
Airwolf, I'm going in.
Airwolf.
For sure.
You got to go with
Possibly the
Airwolf.
greatest show ever.
Blue Thunder.
Definitely
Yeah,
the
it
greatest piece of military equipment ever made.
Ever
Yes.
man that actually a man took.
Dun-
He claimed it. Loved Airwolf. Oh, you
That's
know
a
what?
great
Actually, on Blue Thunder, he took that too without permission.
I mean, they always do.
I mean,
Buzz Lightyear takes it without permission.
Yeah.
I mean, it just happens.
Hey, I didn't see
It
it.
just
Sparks.
happens.
No spoilers,
Oh,
Gene.
no spoilers.
I mean, is that really a spoiler? I mean,
Is
come
it? Is it?
It was in the
Gene?
trailer, so no, it
Oh.
shouldn't be.
Well done.
on.
Okay,
We've
we're
been
good.
on a
No problem.
helicopter over the Badlands, John, and it is an incredible experience. I don't like heights. I don't like flying a lot, but being in a helicopter is pretty neat to do.
You don't
It
like
is.
flying?
No, I don't. I mean,
I got to ride the helicopter last year. We had a race at my gym, and there was a life flight. You know, like the air ambulance was there, and I knew a guy that was I don't know, whatever he was, a flight nurse, flight paramedic, and I just made a joke, and I'm like, "Hey, man, how bad would I have to be hurt for me to get a lift?" And he's like, "If you want to stay around to the end, man, you can maybe ride. If you get a ride, we'll bring you to." I mean, it was a 10, maybe 5-10 minute flight to just the hospital where they needed to park the helicopter.
Oh, wow.
And so another lady was able to get on too, friend of mine's wife. And so she sat in the front. I sat in the front. I've got video. I'll share it with you. But it really was cool. It was very short. I called Christy. She came and she went and met us at Willis Knight North. And but it was really, really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fun. They are really cool. I took a helicopter tour. They're the best. You should do it. I really
want to do it. It's not offered by Disney, correct?
No,
these are just private companies.
Private pilots.
But it doesn't seem like it's crazy expensive, especially compared to the experiences at Disney. But what I'm worried about is like my whole family. We would have to be in like multiple flights and
maybe.
So I think I'd have to do solo.
Yeah. But Disney is a no-fly zone, right? So you really can't
get
Disney.
Well,
it is, but
you
around it.
Yeah, you can at Riviera. It's literally if you're sitting by their pool, every 3 minutes there's going by.
Yeah.
So
nice.
Yeah, as far as Disney doing helicopter rides, I mean, do you really want to take a helicopter ride with the Mickey Mouse organization?
You know what? If it's Launchpad flying a helicopter, think about that.
There you go.
I'll pay for that. I'll pay for that.
It's not the flying for Launchpad; it's the landing.
Exactly.
Yeah, the flying is no problem. It's a landing.
So all right. So one of the other things that I kind of this is almost like my Disney bucket list episode, I guess. But one of the other things I've always wanted to do at Disney is golf. Right? I mean, they have I think 4 courses. So like you got Palm and Magnolia over by Poly, Lake Buena Vista golf course over by Saratoga Springs, and then was it Oak Trail or something. Where it's like a 9-hole course, right? And I can never find time when we're there with the whole family to sneak out and even play 9 holes. But it's something I've just always wanted to do because I love golf and I love Disney, and it would just be fun.
Yeah. And John, I've heard great things about the mini golf as well. You know, you can bring the family over there and they might like the mini golf.
Yeah,
have
that's
you
true.
done mini golf?
No,
has anybody?
Oh my gosh,
not at Disney.
We hadn't either until
2020.
And we were there right when the parks reopened. I know you guys have heard me say that, but the park hours were significantly reduced. So we had to get super creative with what to do in the evenings because most of the parks closed around
6-ish.
7
but
o'clock.
We were done though. I mean, we were everything we wanted to do.
But we ended up saying, oh, we've never done putt-putt. Let's go do it. And so we ended up playing both.
At different trips.
Fantasia
Gardens,
Fantasia Gardens, which I think is my favorite, and then the Winter Gardens. But
Winter Summerland.
Yes. But Fantasia Gardens is so much fun. I'm not going to give away any of the things, but lots of like trick shot kind of putt courses and some hidden secrets on different holes, I guess, or paths.
Where is the mini golf at? I mean, I really don't know. So
is that Disney? Is that Disney?
Yeah,
the one at Fantasia Gardens is over by the Swan and Dolphin.
Okay.
And the Winter Summerland is a giant parking lot we almost died in January.
Well, for the people who don't know where that is,
you find a pile of bodies about mile 22.
Over by Animal Kingdom Lodge, I take it?
No, it's over by
Coronado.
Coronado.
Across the street.
Was it over there?
Blizzard Beach.
Blizzard Beach.
Blizzard Beach area. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So
that's
something
the worst going through that parking lot. The
worst.
Yeah,
it's bad.
I'd rather go through going back and running through the little sports
ESPN.
Yeah, that other one. I don't like the whole thing. I digress. We'll talk about that on Release the Kraken.
So something that I've always wanted to do at Disney but never had a chance to, and I've heard it's a lot of fun, is go fishing. So apparently you can book a guided fishing trip and they're all catch and release. And it's a great way to learn about fishing. They stock the lakes with bass. And so I don't know if you're guaranteed to catch anything, but I'd say they know pretty much where all the fish are and take you right to them. So it's something I've always wanted to try. I may have to try that next time I'm down. I've heard it's a lot of fun.
At Port Orleans Riverside, I think they do cane pole fishing as well that you can rent.
They do, yeah. I've never done it, but I've seen them renting out the poles. I think it's relatively cheap.
That's too funny because my son loves to fish, always has, and we were planning a trip, and he wanted to pack a rod and reel to fish, and we wouldn't let him. We were just I don't want to get eaten by that. I mean, he's gonna do what he's gonna do, but he fishes all the time. But I did not realize there was fishing, so that's cool.
Yeah.
What other ideas you have, guys?
So we talked a lot about like resort hopping and that type of thing, but I think more specifically going around to the resorts and trying the food. Even the quick service at all the different resorts. You know, Kevin, you mentioned Geyser Point earlier, but even like Polynesian has Captain Cook's, and Grand Floridian has their quick service place that has good sandwiches and stuff. It's just fun to check out what's available in all the different resorts, or go over to Port Orleans and get yourself some beignets because they're delicious. Just stuff like that is really fun to go check out.
Oh yeah, Captain Cook's is the best. Their nachos are phenomenal.
I will eat the Thai meatballs every day of the week. Like I think I had it 2, maybe even 3 times on marathon weekend.
I might have missed, John. Captain Cook's is at the Polynesian, right?
Yes, that's right. Yep, at the Poly.
In fact, it's right by. It's right around the bathroom, but before you go to the bar we were talking about earlier, it's right there on the right hand side.
Yeah, right by Trader Sam's.
Trader Sam's, so you can't miss it. It's awesome.
And right outside there, you can rent boats to go out on Seven Seas Lagoon.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
another fun activity. You can take a small boat out.
Y'all mentioned Trader Sam's several times. Is it better than Trader Joe's?
It is much better than Trader Joe's. It's a lot of fun.
Sometimes, Carly, I say things just to see the look on your face.
I always have a look.
I mean, let's be honest. Trader Joe's has Scandinavian swimmers. The little, they're kind of like Swedish fish, but more delicious.
But more delicious. Interesting.
Gotcha.
Now I'm drooling.
But yeah, you can get the boats and ride those. I think they had the little speed boats that were kind of like jet skis or something. At one point. In 2020, the Lizards rented out the Grand One yacht. That was a lot of fun. They took us around 7 Seas. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I mean the other thing too is like beyond the food, you go to somewhere like Grand Floridian, they have basketball courts. You can do that, and like me and my daughter when we stay at Poly, we walk over to Grand Floridian at night and play one-on-one. And it's great to get beat by a 12-year-old in basketball. So I like to do that on vacation too.
And there's some tennis courts, and I think the Riviera has bocce ball courts.
Riviera has
bocce ball is super fun,
and a giant chess set, right?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, right in that little like courtyard thing on the lake there.
Yes.
And I think every resort, well, I know they have it at, I'm trying to think if it's at every resort. And I think, yes, they do, but mostly the deluxes. So I don't know if yes, they do, but they have an arcade. And I know they have a huge arcade, which is phenomenal. So it brings back memories. And at Pop, they have one, right? So I guess maybe they are at everyone. But
they have one that music's got one.
Yeah, they're better at they're better at the moderate and the value than they are at the deluxe, actually.
Yeah, I love the one in Pop.
Yeah. The one in Pop is fantastic. We spent hours in there on a family trip.
Yeah.
Nice.
You had mentioned, John, about dining and stuff at the resorts. They also have like the Hoop-de-Doo review that's coming back too. So that's kind of a big event kind of meal that's interesting to do. The dinner show that they do at the Fort Wilderness campgrounds.
Yeah. Which is that like a family style, or what is that?
Yep.
Like a buffet?
It's like a little dinner show, family style. They bring you out food and they have entertainment going. And
it's kind of a sing-along show. I've never been. I've always wanted to, and then we just never find time. But it's really cute over at Fort Wilderness if you've never been. Like, I know we've spent a lot of time talking about deluxe resorts, but some of the value and moderate, just like the arcades, have way more kid-friendly stuff, I think, than the deluxe. One of the things over at Fort Wilderness, the campgrounds and the, what do they call it? Fort Wilderness campgrounds and cabins. They have Circle K Ranch.
Circle D.
Oh, yeah.
Circle D Ranch. Sorry. They have Circle D Ranch.
Circle K is a gas station.
Yeah, it is.
I was going to say, I didn't know Circle K made ranch dressing too, but whatever.
Circle D Ranch, and it is super cool. It's got the barn stables for all the horses. They've got, parts of Cinderella's carriage in there, and it's just super awesome to walk through. The last time we were in, it was, again, right at the pandemic reopen, and so they weren't busy, and they had no one in there but us. They had just had a new baby foal. And so they let us go over and pet the horse, and they were talking to us about how old she was and, how they took care of the horses and trained them there. And so we got like a little mini tour just because they weren't busy and they were happy to answer questions. So
Very cool.
Super cool place to walk
That's
around.
And I know they do carriage rides and stuff out of there too, so they'll take you around. And
Yeah.
Now,
Do they do
do you
horseback
have to have to stay there? I know they have actually a parade, several parades throughout the year, different times, right at the campgrounds. I know
Yes.
they're famous for their decorations for Christmas and how people go down to their RVs. And I think the Headless Horseman rides through at one of the parades they have as well.
I've
So-
heard that. We've
so-
never seen, but I have heard that.
Yeah, so find out, maybe do a little research if you're thinking about going over there, but rent bikes and just ride and see all the decorations, because
That's another good idea.
Yeah.
Being at the campgrounds, you can actually camp if you wanted to try camping.
Can I glamp? I like to glamp.
Or I like to glamp too, but I think you can actually full on go camping. I don't know if I would want to do that.
Like
Yeah,
rub sticks together, start a fire, and all that.
Yeah, there's too
Yeah.
many gators and snakes in Florida for me to sleep on the ground.
And mosquitoes.
Well, we just
Yeah.
saw how much somebody said a campsite at Fort Wilderness was
Like $90-some.
$90 a night.
Yeah,
And
that
the
was
room
right.
that also
put
removed-
$20
I could probably
with
get
it and
Hampton
get
in
part
for
of
that.
animation.
Yeah.
But that Hampton is not on Disney property.
It's true.
You're not inside the
True.
bubble.
Disney
That's true.
adjacent.
Disney
Okay.
adjacent. Like,
But Jeff, you mentioned like carriage rides, right? And you can go over to Port Orleans Riverside, and they have one too from there that goes in the evening and takes you around on a
Yep.
cute little carriage pulled by two horses and that type of thing. So
Yeah.
that's something fun to do too.
Right. Like, so I had a list whenever we started the show and I've crossed things off, but now the more we're talking, I'm like, oh yeah, there's the bikes that you can rent. And then there's what are those things? Not carriages, but at Boardwalk, the 2-person like pedal thing.
Oh, the bikes, the
the
Surrey
bikes?
bikes. Is that what they're?
Yeah, Surrey bikes.
Yeah.
They have the Surrey bikes. You can do horseback riding at Fort Wilderness. Like, there's tons of stuff.
Chippendale does their campfire sing along at Fort
Yes.
Wilderness.
Oh yeah, and most of the resorts actually have like campfire things where they do marshmallow
yeah.
roasting and stuff like that in the evening too. So there's a lot of like fun things. When you get to the resort, a lot of it's not online, but if you get to the resort, they have a board in the lobby that shows you,
Yeah.
Monday it's this movie here, Tuesday it's a campfire, that type of stuff. So
Mhm.
make sure you look out for that, because that stuff you can make. I think honestly, like we've made some of our best memories at weird little events like that weren't planned and weren't in the park.
Yeah.
John, literally, man, that is a great tip, because we watched Encanto literally from our balcony over at Kidani one night, right? So you're right, and you can go to the pool if you want to watch it. So you don't have to have a room there or even stay there. Just go there. There's a board of all the movies that are playing, and we just decided to kind of sit out with some beverages and watch the movie. So that's an awesome tip.
Yeah.
And I think you're right that it is one of the best ways to make memories, because I feel like when you're in the parks, yeah, you're making great memories, but you're also like, okay, we got to get to the next thing. We gotta, as Jeff continues to say, go commando, throw your underwear to the wind and just run for the next ride.
Live your life.
But the cheffing, it's so bad in the
Right?
summer.
When you're at the resorts, you don't, or when you're, just wandering around property, you don't feel that pressure. Like, oh my gosh, I've got to hit a ride. I've got to hit a ride. And I don't think anybody's mentioned it yet. We've kind of skirted around one, but at a lot of the resorts, they have hidden Mickey scavenger hunts.
Mhm.
Wilderness Lodge has 2, because they have one for the lodge and then they have one for Boulder Ridge, DVC. And that was one of my favorite things that we did. We took, a couple hours. We were hot, tired of people, and we went over there and did that. And it was before we had DVC. So we're like going through Boulder Ridge, like, look at us breaking into DVC stuff, which was totally allowed. They wanted you to go in and look, but it felt bougie and cool and kind of, something different.
Well, and even now, my kids find hidden Mickeys. Like if we're at the grocery store or something, they'll be like, Carly's like, Daddy, look, there's a hidden Mickey. Stuff like that. And it's fun. And that all comes from, those resort tours and stuff like that. So their marketing department's on point, though, because then that gets us talking about Disney 24/7.
Yep.
Okay.
But one of the things, Carly, when you were talking about that, it made me think of at Boulder Ridge, there's a room called the Carrollwood Pacific Room, right? Which is this awesome little room off the side of the Boulder Ridge lobby that has some of the like 1/8 scale or something trains of what Walt made. And there's like checkerboards and a fireplace. And we found it kind of by accident when our kids were sick one year over Christmas and they finally got over being sick. And we're like, all right, well, we're not going to go to the parks because everybody's kind of run down, but let's do something. So we walked around and we found that room. And like I brought a couple drinks down. The kids, had snacks. We just played checkers all night, and it was one of the funnest times we've had at Disney. So little things like that too, like look around the resort and just find these little places to go hang out and that type of thing, and these corners and that type of stuff.
Absolutely.
And one thing I really do like to do as well, it's each resort has in their gift shop has different things. Right. Some of them overlap, but some things you can find that's really, really different. And just going around and just, all of us here collects, Disney memorabilia, right? But you can see some things that you won't see in the park, right? That they'll have at some of these resorts, especially if you like DVC things. So just going around and I think each of the tips you guys gave just shows that you really don't need tickets to enjoy yourself at Disney.
Yeah.
Right. I'm totally rethinking our July trip now as I talk. And we haven't even gone out of the Disney bubble. Like none of these ideas are someplace that you have to get in your car and drive to outside of Disney property. You can get there from monorails or Skyliners or minivans, which are coming back soon. Oh yay. Or just regular Disney bus transportation. So I love that.
Yeah.
Any others?
Yeah, I mean, I've got one, and we haven't talked about this at all, but I'll tell you that after the half marathon this last year, my feet hurt so bad that Lonnie dragged me to, I think Steakhouse 70. No, I don't know where I went that day.
No, you're on the road. Steakhouse 70. What number?
One.
There you go. So proud of you.
Come on, dude. 71. That's the best year ever.
Right?
Yeah, you know it. And so we did that. We talked about going to parks. I couldn't do it. And I went back to the room and I laid down backwards basically on the bed, put my feet up on the wall and watched some football, backwards, upside down, and read a little bit, slept. It was actually great. And I was mad at myself at first because I feel like I should go to the parks if I'm there, but it was what I needed. It was exactly what I needed. Even for that little short trip. I mean, we're putting a lot of miles in, and we still had more than half of it to go the next day. And so it was a really good choice. I don't know, Lonnie could have been upset with me. I don't know. Probably not though.
I wasn't.
It was good. It was what I needed.
Yeah. I can't quit you, bro. I won't be upset. But I will tell you this, man. It's funny you mentioned that, but our last trip, our family trip, now our kids, they went commando like Jeff in the park. My wife and I, we weren't in the parks a lot at all. We would go into the parks. We'll be in there in the morning. To Carly's point, we'll leave out when it got really hot or crowded. We went sit at a bar. We went, sit at Steakhouse 71. We went to all these different places that I wanted her to experience. And then that night, we'll kind of walk back into the parks, or sometimes we just didn't. The longest day we had was at Animal Kingdom. We went there maybe about 10 and we left at 6. And I was like, yeah, I'm tired. Yeah. But when it changes when you go because you can relax. And I think some people have issues with Disney because they go and they just go. And they get home and they're like, I need a vacation from vacation. I'm tired. I was doing all this. But if you approach it as, it's a vacation, relax, take your time. To your point, Gene, we went back to the room. Look, I wasn't complaining. We ate, we went back, we relaxed, watched some football, got a pizza that night, hung out, and we were ready for the marathon the next day, right? If we would have went into the parks and kept going and pushed ourselves, I'm convinced we probably wouldn't have finished that marathon because it was hot.
We'd have finished.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to get people that didn't finish, make them feel good. But we did good. We did good by going back.
And I'll tell you, this last cheer trip, I shared this whenever we did my recap. There's one day that we didn't go, and it wasn't by choice, and I was a little miffed about it, but not really. Christy and I went into Animal Kingdom and left pretty quick. We just did it to check in, and Amelia Bell, they didn't have time to go to the parks, and then they didn't have they didn't have the showing that they didn't cheer as well as they just didn't get the score to go the next day. I was prepared to get finished and be in a park by 9 and be there till it closed, Magic Kingdom. And she didn't want to go. She just wanted to hang out with her friends. And it was cool. And it was good right in the middle of that week. I'll tell you, it's being a part of this podcast, listening to you guys. I've been enough in the last few years that when I go the next time, when I go for cheer, I'm not buying an extra, we're not going to buy extra days. We always feel like we have wasted days, and where we do just as well to just hang out at a resort, to just, let Amelia swim with her friends, Chrissy and I leave her with friends to go, go get something to eat, for lunch or something, something or do something different. I know Lonnie and I, we went to, I don't remember if we went to Disney Springs the last time we went, but we have before. We went to Splitsville, and that's fun. I enjoy doing that. And the last few times haven't really spent any time at Disney Springs, and it's part of the whole resort experience or the whole Disney experience that I really, really enjoy. And so I think I'm at a point now where I can make that trade-off. I don't have to go to parks.
Yeah.
Any other good tips or places that they like to do?
No, the one other thing I was going to mention is some of the resort lounges have like live music. Like at Riverside, they have Yeehaw Bob.
Yep.
Grand Floridian, I think they're gone now, which stinks. But the Grand Floridian Society Orchestra was amazing to just sit in the lobby and listen to those guys play. Stuff like that.
You wear a tuxedo?
Yeah, I wore a tuxedo, obviously. Yeah, because I was at the Grand Floridian. What am I going to do? Wear my park clothes? Come on. But no, it's just... stuff like that is just always so fun, right? It's part of I think it adds a lot to Disney when you go see those types of things.
I agree.
Yeah. No, but I think maybe a next show or down the line, we could do things to do at Disney Springs. Right? Because there are some things you can do just there.
You can spend days there.
Oh, you can.
Is eating at Wine Bar George multiply listed on that?
Well, you know what? I'm looking forward to doing it with you this time, Jeff.
I've never been.
I really want to go too.
I never went, so Jeff talked me into it. We're going.
Yeah.
We are going for sure in January. Guys.
Yes, for sure.
That laugh Carly made was that I can't stand you guys.
Don't worry, I'll be having a bologna sandwich at home too.
We'll get to sit at the kiddie table.
We'll FaceTime you. No, we won't. That's torture.
John and I will just FaceTime each other and sit and drink and call you guys names.
Yep. And then we'll bug you guys and FaceTime you and make fun of you to your faces too.
Yeah. There we go. That's
Sounds
perfect.
fun. So fun.
Yeah.
So any other ideas, any other things that we haven't covered as we move into the most beloved part of the show, Quacking Up with the Ducks?
Yay.
Who wants to start us off?
I'll go. So,
Go ahead, Jeff.
how does NASA organize a party? They plan it.
Nice. What kind of noise does a witch's car make?
Vroom, vroom. That's no elephant joke, but that's a good one, Lonnie.
Oh yeah, no, I try my best.
Well, today is Father's Day that we're recording this, so I hope everybody, when you went out to buy your father's a gift for Father's Day, that you didn't buy anything with Velcro. It's a total ripoff.
Well, following up on the dad joke for Father's Day, a little corny, I guess. So, what did the baby corn say to the mom corn?
I don't know.
Let's get
Where's the popcorn?
Well, in the vein of Father's Day as well, what did Luke say to Vader when he was trying to pull him towards the dark side? Unhand me.
And
That's
he
pretty
did.
terrible. And he did.
Hey, in the vein of losing body parts, when is a rabbit's foot unlucky? When you're the rabbit.
That is true.
This is true.
Yeah, that'd be rough.
So, thank you so much for sharing your jokes, your dad jokes, especially on this Father's Day. It's after Father's Day, but happy Father's Day to all of you ducks and everybody listening. I know it's, like I said, I know it's after Father's Day, but I mean, every day should be Father's Day. You should you should get the big piece of chicken every day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
2 pieces of chicken, Lonnie?
Mm-hmm. Dose.
Nice. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening. If you haven't, check us out on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. We've got a page and a group on Facebook. I mean, it's awesome. Lonnie's still working on something. Tinder, yeah. Don't know how that's working out.
My wife's in another room.
Okay,
on Tinder.
Okay. But follow. 5-star reviews are great. We would appreciate that. We'd love your feedback, though. Just tell us what you like, what we can do better. Tell us if you don't like Lonnie or John or whatever. No, I'm just
not
joking.
me. It'll hurt my feelings.
But again, thank you so much. But hey, Ducks, you got anything you want to share? Any last words before we sign off?
Quack.
Quaharini.
May the force be with you.
We're friends from work.
Keep it real.
Bye.
Thanks,
Bye,
everybody.
everybody.
Bye. I could do like people do in some of the songs and just go, yeah, woo, in the background after stuff.
Like Lil Jon.
You could be like you could be a Pip. Go. We're glad it's night. You're the Pip.
Not him.
No, that's him. Pip.
Or like the Boss Tones, they have a guy that just dances in the background at all the shows. You can do that.
Yeah.
You can be like the guy from Bon Jovi that puts.
I could do the rerun. I could do the rerun.
I do love that guy.
guys.
Welcome everybody to Disney with the Ducks. Thank you so much for being here today. You're joining me, Gene, Lonnie Gaines. I'm starting over. Hold on. I shouldn't introduce myself first. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
My back hurts, and I've been sitting for like 20 minutes or half hour, and now it's starting to hurt, so I have to stand up. So I'm raising my desk.
But you're.
Let's all do that.
Dude,
I'm trying to keep my head in the view of the camera so it didn't look weird.
You know what you should say? You should say, Vader, yes, rise. You have your desk
Rise.
Sorry, I can't sit for very long, and I thought I was going to be able to because I've been feeling a little bit better, but no, it's not happening tonight. Sorry about that. I thought no one would notice because I was moving.
It's like the chairs that
I was
John,
waiting
in
for him
fact,
to do the
was not
stair
feeling
step down.
right. Take the elevator. John.
International Garden. As you know, as you know, it's International Garden and Flower Festival. The as you know part is what Gene said because it's
Food
like
and flower.
you got some knowledge. As you know,
Boom! Goes the dynamite.
And John was like, "Wait, is there something?"
It's not.
Obviously, the Butterfly Festival.
You can tell it's been so long since these two have been on a podcast together because I love it.
Come on, Gene, they're gonna kick us off. Stop, Gene. Focus.
Right.
It's not my fault.
I love it.
Focus. They're gonna kick
Wasn't
us off.
me. All right. Serious, guys. Welcome.
Every time you go to start, John does something dumb.
John, you weren't muted.
Sorry.
Not me.
Yes, I was.
Hey, I'm being so kick Gene off. Leave me on. I'm not doing.
You
this
guys
thing.
could really hear that?
Yeah.
I'm gonna
It'll
be
be
a
in the
statue.
office, don't worry.
I'm gonna be a statue. Here we go.
You ready?
If you break your
have it.
phone, don't you still have it on like an iPad or a tablet or a computer or something where it's synced?
Yes.
I mean,
It's
don't have to worry
in the
about it.
cloud, Lonnie.
Yeah.
It's in the cloud.
Lonnie, it's 2022. Quick check of the
Yeah.
camera. Yeah.
It's not 1986 anymore.
Where is this cloud? How can I touch it? If I can't touch it, I don't believe it's out there.
Funny story. Dude, the cloud is just what people call the stuff stored on the internet. If they don't have the internet, they can't put it on the cloud. Bruh. They didn't say bruh.
Really?
Those dang kids are riding their electric scooters on the cul-de-sac. Unsupervised.
Dang nabbit.
I'm loving
Jumping
it.
Jihasta fact.
Back in.
What? Would you say we need to reel it back in?
No, I can't wait to see how you're segueing this.
Oh.
Carly's still trying to get that.
So that's why we use Gmail because of the capabilities that we have. Okay. So